Cool.
The main difference in that type of communication is because men, like we said, is like super, just tell me exactly what you want. My goal is to make you happy so that one, you either leave me alone, or two, you actually love me for it. There's like one of
Right.
these options, one of them is going to work for me. Like if I do what you want and you leave me alone, great, I'm happy. And the challenge is with women is uh, they speak to us on an energetic level. They don't speak to they don't need to like, they don't need a slave boy to do things for them. You know, they need something more, and so the something is hidden because the female psychology makes perfect sense, but it's completely opposite to men. If men were straight shooters and it's easier for me to tell you exactly what I need, what I want, you know, for women, there is a very emotional calculation of give and take and the dynamic of the relationship. And there's so many undercurrent information gathering that if that a lot, because a lot of it is happening subconsciously, she's not aware of why she's speaking to you in a certain way, of why she's demanding certain things in a certain way. It just comes out like that because one, probably she doesn't feel uh, loved in the relationship. So if she doesn't feel loved, she's going to react in a way that is defensive, meaning what does it mean to defend? For her, it means to attack. Because if she can show you that you're the asshole in the relationship, she's the good one, maybe somehow it's going to jolt you to ask the right questions. A lot of these things are subconscious, so she can outright come out and say, this is what I'm doing, or this is what I need. But generally, it's like under talking. Really, what we need in relationship is just talking. Is that time when you have 30 minutes to yourself and to her, and you put all distractions aside, and you just talk
And listen.
and listen, and you talk and you listen and you ask questions. After all the frustration, like after you're like, I want to kill her because of the way she talks to me, and I know exactly what you're talking about. My wife and I still have these episodes where she says something that just jolts me like through the roof, but I'm like, okay. And then we have a time when we actually talk where I can bring it up, and I can tell her that, listen, I love you. I want to do things for you. But certain things that you say in a certain way, they trigger me. And then you begin to share the roadmap of actually those programmings, right? The buttons that we're all given as people, that women know how to push our buttons.
And
But
yeah, and when you say that to them, like one time, like they'll turn around and say, "Well, then I can't express myself." If I can't come to you and tell, it's not that you can't express yourself. It's just the way that you're expressing yourself doesn't make sense.
right.
The
So
anger.
we need to approach it
It's
from a
like,
point of view of we need to approach it from a point of view, not like I don't want you not to trigger me. I want you to understand because she has a goal, right? She naturally she's designed to make a man out of a man. She will make his life miserable, but he will be greater. He will be stronger. He will be something that he wasn't before he met her, before that moment, before, she came into his life. And so she just naturally, nature pushes her to point at the most vulnerable, like a diamond, right? You look at a diamond, how do you shape it? You look at the weak points and you begin to hammer them. This and then until you shape a beautiful diamond. And the same thing with men. We're like in potential men, but we're not men. Like if you look at a boy, he's not a man, right? Why? Because he's still not
he hasn't
fully
suffered.
shaped. He hasn't suffered, man. You get it. He hasn't had enough experience. He hasn't overcome enough. He hasn't shaped a certain world view. How do you gain confidence as a boy? When you know that you can take care of things. When you're not afraid that your next move is going to be the end of the world. You understand that whatever comes your way, even if you don't know what it is, you can handle it. And that only comes with experience, which is why it's so detrimental when boys go to school and they have female teachers. And it's like, it's all women and women and women and women and women. And they're robbed of their masculinity because if hundreds years ago we used to be raised in not maybe not 100, maybe like 3, 4, 500. We raised in tribes. Even 100 years ago, it was still civilized but male culture, where you went into that male culture and you were kind of raised by it. We don't have
Yeah.
it nowadays. So